Hi guys, this is Forgetful Scholar. Let's chat about books. So this week is Creepy but Sweet, Disappointment, and Overbred Specimens. Yeah. So the first one is FM, Historical, Overbred Specimens. It's The Love in the Afternoon by Lisa Kleypas, the Hathaway book 5. And this one, it's a little bittersweet for me because it's the end of the Hathaway books. I mean, there might be about the kids and everything, but this is the end of the siblings. Oh, I loved it. 5 stars. Okay, anyway, so this is Beatrix and Christopher. So Christopher is a soldier and he's coming back and he has a pretty severe case of PTSD. And Beatrix, we love her. She is like female Dr. Dolittle. She's so cute. And this one was interesting. It's the Overbred Specimens, because that's what, at the beginning, that's what Beatrix kind of internally thinks about the eligible bachelors in London, and it made me laugh. And every time I look at this book, I'm going to think about that. So this was really fun, and we got to see like Amelia and Cam's son, Rye. He's so cute. And I kind of wondered how they would do that. And it was like a perfect little mix of Cam's kind of whimsicalness, you know, and Amelia's down-to-earth, logical, practical. He's very sweet. And, you know, he loves his Aunt Beatrix, so he hangs out with her a bit. And Beatrix is the youngest sister who loves animals and has a kleptomania problem. Now, before Christopher goes off to war, he kind of remarks that Beatrix belongs more in a stable than a picnic. So she kind of hates him. He's like, you know, she thinks he's arrogant and stuff like that. And Christopher's writing to her friend Prudence, who's very popular with boys. And Prudence is very... I didn't like her. You're not supposed to like her, you know, at least in this book. I don't know if she has her own book, but, you know, she's very self-entitled, very bratty, very conceited, you know, things like that. So she's not going to write back to him, even though the letter kind of broke my heart. And it's supposed to, you know, he's in the middle of a war zone and things like that. So Beatrix, being the sweetheart that she is, decides to write to him, even though she doesn't like him, because she just can't... She can't not help a wounded animal. You know what I mean? That's kind of her established character. So they exchange letters, and she exchanges it under the name Prudence, and Christopher falls in love with the Prudence in the letters. I know, that's... I know. So when he comes back, you know, things get complicated. And it's a lot of fun, and I thought going into it that this is like, oh, this trope, okay, whatever. That I would just kind of deal with the trope, because it's not my favorite, deal with the trope and, you know, just focus on everything else in the book. But the trope didn't feel forced or overdone, you know? I think it's because this book kind of had heavy themes, like I said, PTSD and things like that. And like, it's just a wonderful journey, and I always like how this author, you know, the problems don't automatically go away. They take work. You know what I mean? How her brother Leo's substance abuse problem took work. You know, so I do really appreciate that about this author. I really like that. Because sometimes the authors are like, oh, they don't mention it again, or like, it's magically fixed. And I get that. You know, this is in the realm of fantasy and like romanticism. So I understand why they do that. But I do appreciate this author doesn't. And you do get a very intense Christopher point of view of what he suffers through, shell shock, PTSD, you know, things like that. Especially since this is before, you know, before the had diagnosis, before there was mental health professionals to help. I mean, there's mental health professional, you know what I mean. And there's Albert, who's this cute terrier that Christopher finds in the battlefield, and basically is his emotional support animal. And I completely love it. You know what I mean? Albert's sweet, and it's just great. You get a glimpse into the other Hathaway siblings and how they're doing, and I like it because it's just like a quick little pop in, pop out. They don't overtake the story like in the rest of the Hathaway books, when the other family members show up, it's more to push the plot forward and things like that. I do love the scenes where Leo and Cam kind of verbally spar in a very friendly, but still verbally spar kind of way, and Christopher's just like watching this go down because he's not used to this, you know? And of course, the warmth and connection that Hathaway family feels helps him heal a lot, you know? So this is a really good book. And I will say, the overarching Hathaway books are my favorite so far from this author. They're fantastic. I love them. And if someone ever says like, oh, well, romance novels are just fluff, I would tell them go check out the Hathaway series, because let's do a quick running count, you know what I mean, of what the Hathaway, like the themes that the Hathaway's books deal with. So first, racism, um, enormous pressure for one sibling to take care of all her others because the parents are dead, deceased, grief, substance abuse, self-destructive behavior, chronic illness, racism and classism again, and internal as well. Also, horrific child abuse, like force a child to fight other children for sport. Like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Let's see. Other child abuse by neglect, verbal child abuse, self-esteem issues, kidnappings, PTSD, kleptomania. Does that sound like fluff to you? Yes, romantic stories, the ones I like, because some romantic stories have a sad ending. The ones I like have happily ever after, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're just fluff and meaningless. You know, you could find a lot of great stories and a lot of great authors trying to tell their story or different stories, stuff that's important to them in these books. So yeah, none of those themes to me say fluff. You know what I mean? So this one, 5 stars. The whole Hathaway series, 5 stars. And if you haven't tried it yet, because I know I'm late to the Lisa Kleypas train, definitely give it a try. I mean, these are so good. And controversial, not controversial, whatever, I like this a lot better than the Wallflower books. Like, a lot better than the Wallflower books. Because some of the Wallflower books, I have to force myself to continue. Because I try really hard not to DNF books. But this, I didn't have to try. Like, I would have to force myself to put the book down because I had real life stuff to do. So there it is. And again, fantastic. Love the cover. Love it. I'm kind of sad it's over. You know, I want more of the Hathaway family, but we'll see. Maybe I don't know. I'll check it out. We'll see. Okay. So, the second book is a DNF. My first DNF in a long time. So it's definitely the Dissapointment one. A study in Scarlet Woman, the Lady Sherlock Holmes series, book 1, but Sherry Thomas. There's a picture here. Yeah. I was so disappointed that I didn't like it. I was so disappointed. I went to about page 120 and I just couldn't anymore. And that sucks. Because I do read a lot of romance, but I also really enjoy mystery. And I was kind of hoping that this would be a new author that I enjoyed. I don't know. I love the original Sherlock Holmes stories. I even have it on a CD. So like if I'm going for long car rides, I have like sort of the dramatic reenactment, old radio show type thing to like I listen to when I do long drives. I usually really enjoy remakes of Sherlock Holmes. You know, even if it's like really kind of wild and crazy, I usually find something that I enjoy in it. This I did not. The only person I cared about was Livia, the sister to the female Sherlock Holmes, and I thought maybe she was the female Sherlock Holmes because we get her POV for the majority of the beginning of the book. So that's another thing. There's a lot of POVs, and there's a lot of characters, and most of the time, because the author, I think, did a really good job of kind of doing the older style of writing, like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I got what they were going for. I did, and I think they did a really good job because that's not an easy style to replicate nowadays. So there's a lot of Mr. This and Mrs. This, and there was just so many characters, and 100 pages in, then we kind of get going a little bit with the story. But it just bugged me that the Charlotte, who's the female Sherlock Holmes, seems to solve these crimes even when she doesn't go to the crime scene. And I was like, okay, come on. Like every other kind of reimagining that I've enjoyed, they go to the crime scene and they investigate. She's just kind of like, oh no, I saw it in the newspaper, I know how to fix it. And it's like, no, I don't buy that. I was like, okay. And Charlotte's not really likable for me, and she wasn't really, I couldn't really, I couldn't really connect with her. And yes, this is the New York Times bestseller, and I'm probably in the minority when I say that I didn't like it. And if you like these kind of things, gender bends, go ahead and check it out. I mean, I do love gender bends when they're done well. And I think this gender bend, if it didn't say like Lady Sherlock Holmes, I wouldn't have thought it. And like I found myself taking in-depth notes. And yes, sometimes I jot down this or this. Like I really like this. I thought this was funny. This character is amusing. I didn't like this, but I felt like I was in school again because I was like, oh, this character and his wife, and this is their connection. And it's like, no, this isn't for paper. This isn't for test. This is for enjoyment. I shouldn't have like pages and pages of notes just to keep track of the characters. Like the characters aren't interesting and unique enough to be on their own without me taking multiple notes. And like a married man that's like half in love with her. Like there's a lot of stuff that I didn't like. You know what I mean? Do I like that she decided to buck convention and do what she wanted? Yes, but that was kind of the only thing I liked. That and Lydia, and I didn't find myself engaged enough to keep going. So that's my probably unpopular opinion, but hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and everybody's got different opinions. For me, I was super disappointed because I was really, really looking forward to it, and I didn't like it. So there we go, a DNF. What can I say? And the last one is the creepy and sweet. The Forgotten Dead, Outfoxing the Paranormal, Book 1 by Jordan L. Hawk. Now, I'm really excited because this is like a brand new series from this author. This just came out like last week, I think, as recording this video. And I really, really loved it. Of course I really loved it. And this is an contemporary, but sort of like alternate history too, because in this world, Duke University, like people believe the paranormal is real, and they study ESP and telekinesis and things like that. But the study of parapsychology, which is sort of like the study of ghosts, and if they keep their personality after they die, is sort of looked down on because you can't measure in the lab. So, yeah. So basically, it's Oscar Fox and Nigel Taylor. Nigel is an adjunct professor in the parapsychology. Parapsychology in Duke University, and he's worried about his funding until like a mysterious older woman gives him the funding if he works with this viral video. I think it was supposed to be YouTube, but they didn't say it. Paranormal group, and it's called Outfoxing the Paranormal, and the main guy is Oscar Fox. And they go to abandoned homes and they try to find proof of ghosts. And the thing is, she believes that Oscar is a medium. And mediums are really rare, and kind of most of them are considered charlatans and things like that. So they decide to do a video together, and she picked the house, which has tremendous traumatic connection to Nigel's childhood. And I mean, okay, so usually this is a 5-star, and usually I will say with romance novels, if there isn't like a love scene, I kind of like, take down a point, unless the romance is just so sweet, and this romance is really sweet. And I don't think love scene would have been appropriate any time of this book. And this writer has done like Cthulhu mystery horror stuff and still have love scenes of the characters, and that didn't feel weird. But this one, I would have been like, oh, that's a little like, really, with everything that's going on, like how connected to Nigel's past this creepy house is and what's happening. So like I think Love Scene would have been completely would have creeped me out. Would have really creeped me out. Why it's creepy, because the haunted house, the description, I was like, oh, I was like so tense the entire time. Like it really got to me. It freaked me out. Description of ghosts and everything was happening in the haunted house, and it was real. Like it got me. It got me good, guys. Like it really did. And I was just like, ah, and it was so creepy. Not, hiding out 6 months in a safe house and kind of stalking the love of your life, kind of creepy looking at you. Monsters Loves Crazy Curvy Girls, author Michelle Mills. That was really weird. This is like haunted house scary. Like a horror movie scary. And it was. Like the descriptions and what was happening. And there is trigger warning in the front of this book, so I would encourage you to read that in case some of those things really get to you, because what happened in that house was so horrific. It was horrible. You know what I mean? And the thing that got me the worst of it is like, yeah, that's kind of possible. Like that stuff happens, which really, I think that's why it really scared me. Because even though this is like a paranormal ghost hunting kind of a book, it was grounded in like, oh shit, that really could happen. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Like, oh my god, was that a noise on the roof? What's happening? Like I really, my brain really decided to just freak me out when I was reading this. I was like, oh, the whole time I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So it definitely got my adrenaline pumping. I really enjoyed it, and no, there's no love scene in it, and I commend that, because I would rather them have a slow burn. And honestly, it's a happy ending and everything, but honestly, like, where would you have put a love scene for them? Like, everything that was going on, and like, Nigel grew up across the street from this house, and the events that happened, and harbors so much guilt over it that it just wouldn't have made sense. It would have been kind of weird. It's sort of like, we all had those experiences, right? Like, we're reading a detective novel or a horror movie, and then all of a sudden the next scene it's a love scene. You're like, you were just over a dead body. Like, you were just investigating a dead body, and now you're having sex in the bathroom. Or like, you were just like, your best friend just got horribly murdered in front of you by this like monster, and now you want to get down with the girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that always felt weird to me. So I did like that. I like that they didn't do that. I like that it was a slow burn. And Jordan L. Hawk keeps bringing it. I love them. They're so fantastic. Okay. Okay. So that's it for this week. This was kind of like an up and down week considering the books, but I'm happy the two of them kind of balanced out the DNF. And I'm so upset about the Hathaways. There's no more of the siblings. I'm gonna miss them. Anyway, I know it's weird, right? Anyway, it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.